Alright, people. This is Faded Zephyr coming at you with another recap or another reaction, whatever you want to call these fucking things. I got like I got two more to make after this one. So, this is about the Microsoft Game Showcase. I did one on the Sony one, so we're going to do the Microsoft one. I'm going to do also another one on the Summer Games Fest showcase that happened. And I'm also going to do one on the PC Game Show, which I haven't seen that one yet, but I've been really busy, IRL stuff, but I'm trying to get this stuff out. I guess we'll do a quick overall for people who don't want to watch the whole video. Overall, I thought it was probably the best out of the conferences that I've seen, but that's certainly saying that much because the other ones weren't that great either. There's a lot of games. It's a lot more cinematic stuff, though. The same problem I had with the Sony conference applies here in terms of there wasn't a lot of gameplay, at least until the Starfield shit at the end. But they did have a few surprise announcements, I guess. A few more of the games they showed were memorable, and they were, I guess, I don't know. I guess it just seemed like more of the games they showed I was interested in personally, or more interested in, or they looked better. Not to say the other showcases didn't have their moments, but well, let's go through it real quick. The conference started out with a Fable cinematic trailer. Now here's the thing, I'm somewhat of a fan of the Fable games. I played Fable 2 and 3 way back in the day on the 360. I remember 3 was fucking terrible. 2 was pretty good. I remember it being pretty good. I liked it. But yeah, 3 was bad, and then they didn't make any more games after that. So I mean, I'm interested. I like RPGs, so I like RPGs that have like choice and consequence, and where you can join different factions or do different quests to fucking join up with different people. And this kind of RPG that these games are, I like. So I have my eye on it, I guess, by default, but we'll see. I don't know this game dev studio. I don't know what they've done before. They didn't show us. I thought this was like some Jack and the Beanstalk game ripoff or something. I looked away for a second. I was on my phone. I missed like the Fable title drop. I thought it was like some fucking Jack and the Beanstalk game or some shit. I don't know where this giant and this miniature person. I don't understand why they chose this as a reveal trailer, but whatever. I got my eye on it. It's coming. I don't know when. It's probably really far away, so I'm not really gonna be anticipating it, because I don't anticipate games when they're potentially years off. So no gameplay, but I guess it's nice to know it's coming, because it's been a series that's been on hiatus for I think like almost a decade now, right? Something like that. I don't know, something ridiculous. And I do like these kind of games, so I guess they started off good for me, at least, even though it's a cinematic trailer and whatever. Regardless, moving on to the next game. It's Star Wars Outlaws. I don't really know what this is going to be. Is it like a third-person game like the Fallen Order games were, or Fallen Order and Survivor, whatever? I don't understand. I don't know if we need a Star Wars game every goddamn year, but we're getting them. So I fucking Lucas, whoever owns that IP. I don't think they own. Well, yeah, they do. They still own it. I'm not sure. Whoever owns it has got to rake in that dough, because no one's watching the fucking the TV shows anymore, because they stopped being good. So like, shit. Well, we were still making somewhat good games. I mean, people enjoyed the Star Wars games that we released. Crank out more games. Shit, fuck. But here's another one. I guess I'll keep an eye on it. I still gotta play the fucking Fallen Order and Survivor games. I haven't done that yet, which I probably should, because they look like games I'd probably like. But so that one's decent. And it's another cinematic trailer, but we didn't know it was in development. 33 Mortals. It's a fucking indie top-down roguelite, I think. I'm not really sure, but it's gotta have your indie representation for an indie game, and what it is, it looks decent. So the art style looks fun, and they're doing the co-op thing. I don't know if it's like massive co-op, if that's why it's like 33 Immortals. There's 33 people. I don't understand. At least it's a unique spin on the genre instead of just a copy paste. That's the thing with these indie top-down games. A lot of them are just copy and paste of each other, and they get really fucking stale after a while. So at least this one's doing the multiplayer thing, so at least there's some twist on the formula. We got Payday 3. I don't think we knew this was coming, did we? And then they did show little snippets of gameplay, which, I mean, it looks like Payday 2, so, and it just prettier. I didn't play a lot of Payday 2, so it is what it is. I don't really like multiplayer PvE games for the most part. It's just not really my thing. If I play a game, I prefer to beat it like, on my own merits and not either being dragged or dragging other people behind me. So it is what it is, but for people who like PvE games, I know it's a pretty wide audience out there. I'm sure they'd love it. So, and it looks pretty fun for what it is. I've heard pretty good things about the Payday games, so we'll consider this another win for Microsoft. Avowed. I didn't even know what this was. I didn't even know this was in development. This is apparently Obsidian's new game that they're making. Obsidian, I guess this is an RPG. I'm not really sure from the trailer they showed. I mean, Obsidian usually makes RPGs, so I'd imagine that's what it is. They're pretty good at making RPGs, so I hope that's what it is. Look, if it's an Obsidian RPG, I'm on board anyway, because I like pretty much every Obsidian RPG that I played. Hasn't been many, admittedly, but been janky. Obsidian's games aren't perfect, but they do tend to trend towards the good side. But yeah, a lot of people think Obsidian's games are flawless and they're these amazing things. They're not. I mean, New Vegas and KOTOR 2 and all that shit, people act like that shit's like the greatest fucking game that those games are the greatest fucking things to ever happen to humanity, and I disagree. They're good games. I would even say they're great games, but are they nearly flawless like people try to make them out to be? I don't think so. But regardless, we're getting off topic. New Obsidian game. We saw snippets of gameplay for it. If it's an Obsidian RPG, I'm down for it. I don't think they've ever done, because it looks like it's like a third-person game. I don't think they've ever done a third-person style game like this, but we'll see. I got my eye on it, and we'll consider it another good point for Microsoft, because Obsidian RPGs are always going to have a pretty big audience, especially the ones that aren't top-down, which I love the top-down ones. I'm not going to lie. Those are probably my favorites, but I get that most people aren't like that, and I'm a fucking weirdo, so either way, I got my eye on it. It looks fun. Sea of Thieves crap. Look, I get, if people like Sea of Thieves, I like to make my own fun and just fuck around with friends. I need something to do. It looks like there's some story stuff being added here, so I guess that's something to do. But I just need my games to have a bit more substance, man. Just fucking around with friends is not good motivation enough for me to play a game. Like, I can just fuck around with friends in real life. Yeah, I don't. That's not what I play games for. So, but there's other people that do, and for those people, and I've heard that this is like a lot of people play this game, surprisingly, so you wouldn't think it, but apparently they do. So they're still supporting it. They can still support it. It is what it is. Not for me, but I get that they got to show their support because it's what Rare's doing. So, and Rare is one of their, well, what was at once more prominent game developers, so it is what it is. Microsoft Flight Sim 23. This is another niche game. There's a few niche games in this showcase. I think that's why I think I like this showcase more than the other ones, is that like there's a lot more niche games, which I guess the Microsoft one had too, but like the niche games it's a pretty wide niche that they're covering, and they're covering a lot of stuff that has established fan bases, and I get you. I like new IPs, but and I think we need more new IPs in the industry, but when you have a bunch of new IPs one after the other, none of them really hook you, it does get to make a really forgettable conference. So at least, these games that they're showing have some level of pedigree, whether it be the studios that are making them or the IP itself. So Microsoft Flight Sim is not for me, but I know there's a lot of people that love this shit, so, and it is a Microsoft thing. It's a Microsoft showcase. I get it. The Hellblade 2, I never played the first one. Maybe I should. I don't know. It looks like a story-intensive third-person action game. They were fighting this giant zombie-like thing at the beginning. I don't fucking know, man. It doesn't really look like it's enough to hook me. It looks like this really psychological third-person cinematic thing. But it looks alright for what it is. So, I mean, it doesn't look bad. And I know a lot of people like the first one. I think the first one, it was popular enough to warrant a sequel, so it had to have a decent enough fan base. Next game, Like a Dragon, some weeb game where you have some dude on a beach and he's like nude, and like he doesn't realize that he's completely nude until the end of the trailer, like 2 minutes in, and I'm just sitting there like, how the fuck do you not notice? Like, if I woke up on a beach somewhere, butt ass naked, the first goddamn thing I would be wondering is like, why the fuck am I butt ass naked? What the fuck happened? Like, I would be kind of afraid. But yeah, apparently this dude didn't notice, or he didn't know, and I don't fucking know, man. You weebs in the game, you like some weird shit, man. I guess it's some the Japanese guys coming to California or something. That's what it looked like. I don't fucking know. I don't play these games, man. You fucking weebs that play it, you know, here's your bone. Even though there's no real gameplay, I don't really know what this is, but it's something. There's a Fallout 76 ad. Funny enough, Fallout 76 is the only Bethesda game that I have yet to play. Yeah, but Fallout 76 is... I don't like MMOs. And that's like almost all PvE because the PvP is terrible. And I don't like PvE stuff. And I just don't like... I don't want an MMO in Fallout. I just don't. Part of the whole point of why I liked Fallout is you have different factions that you could join. And that actually what faction you joined and what quests you did had effects on the world. And you can't do that when you're in an MMO setting. So, this is what it is. I'm sure people play it. There's still people playing it. I feel like it might be fun to go through just to explore once. Fallout MMOs, nah, not for me, son. Path of the Goddess, this was some Japanese... I don't even know what this is. It's inspired by, like, Japanese folk tales or something, it looks like. Or Japanese culture with old temples and all that shit. I don't know what it is. It's a weeb game for all you. It wasn't actually called Path of the Goddess. It was called some Japanese saying before the words Path of the Goddess, but I am not gonna butcher that pronunciation. So whatever, it's something. Not for me, but at least not from what they showed. Again, I don't really know what it is. It looks like a beat 'em up. I don't really like beat 'em ups, so whatever. You got Forza 4. Or no, we're not on Forza 4. We're way past that. What are we on? Like, I don't fucking know. Whatever new Forza game, there's that. You gotta get it. It's Microsoft, you gotta support it. A lot of people like it. Not for me, but it is what it is. Gotta have Forza there. I get it. Just because I don't like racing games doesn't mean everyone else doesn't. You got an ESO pitch, which Microsoft owns, I think, the people that make ESO, so I guess that's why that's here. I'm gonna say the same thing about Elder Scrolls I did about Fallout. I don't want MMO in my Elder Scrolls at all. I want to be able to join a different faction and affect the world and kill NPCs and have that affect certain things and do all that shit. And I can't do that in an MMO setting. So I've never been into... As much as it is appealing to like explore the whole continent of Tamriel, I always thought that was cool, that you could do that. But yeah, I don't like MMOs, dude. For you ESO players out there, you know, here's another expansion. They're still supporting it after years and years and years. So remember, I think it launched and people did nothing but shit talk it. And I've heard it's improved. So it is what it is. If you like MMOs, which I don't, I'm sure ESO is fine for you. Okay, next, Overwatch 2. I guess I thought they scrapped the story mode for this. It looked like they were like advertising a story mode. I guess they're not. I guess it's just story missions. I don't fucking know. I don't play this goddamn game either. Yeah, I guess for all you Overwatch people, here's something. I don't understand, because I know people were bitching that they canceled the story mode, but they looked like there was like cutscenes and stuff here, so I don't fucking know. Alright, we have some Persona thing. There was a lot of weeb shit this show, which... There's been a lot of weeb shit in all these showcases. I don't care about weeb shit. I have nothing against Japanese people. Most game studios are Japanese anyway. So it's not like, oh, you don't like Japanese games. Well, most of the games I like come from there in some part. Well, some of them. But it doesn't matter. The point is, I have nothing against them. I don't like... From what I've read online... Japanese people, a lot of them from that country don't like white people, and they tend to look down on American culture, so I don't, and I've read that online a lot from people who have lived there, so I don't tend to engage with media that is unrepentantly Japanese and like embrace their culture and celebrate it, because they literally spit on ours, from literally what I've heard from people who have lived there. Like they don't. That's why they don't buy American products. That's why they don't like buy Xboxes there, because it's an American company, so they refuse to buy it because American companies are worse. Everything that's not Japanese is worse because they think they're inherently better. So that's why I'm not really a big fan of these type of games that are just like unrepentantly Japanese and all that shit. It's nothing against the country. or the people, I'll still buy their shit if they make good games and have a good product. But I'm not gonna sit there and embrace their culture and celebrate their culture and all this shit when they spit on ours and they look down their nose at ours like we're inferior. So it is what it is. That's my justification. Call me racist or xenophobic if you want. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I went off on a tangent there, but yeah. Anyway, I don't like these unrepentantly weak Japanese culture games. For that reason, because they don't enjoy our culture either. So I'm not going to enjoy theirs if they don't enjoy ours. Full stop. We have a Starfield trailer, which I'm not even going to go over because we have a whole showcase to cover at the end of this video. Your Jusum indie rock climber. It's an indie rock climber. Fine. I prefer my games to have a bit more action and a bit more stuff to do than just climb rocks. But if some people are into it, it's one of these more cozy games it looks like to play. So I'm sure women would like it. Alright, next we got Still Wakes the Deep. This looks like a walking sim because they didn't really show any fucking other gameplay. But I mean, it looks like a walking sim that has really good atmosphere. Very I don't want to say Lovecraftian. I don't really know what it is. It's like alien fuck. It's like if you had like the atmosphere of like Alien fucked like the Lighthouse, that black and white movie that came out, and they like got married to like some Lovecraft story, I guess. And that's what this looks like. It looks like it has really good atmosphere. So I mean, it looks alright. It's coming to Game Pass, so at least that's an excuse to justify paying for Game Pass for another month. Because I don't know if I'd pay full price for whatever this is, but. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, that Cyberpunk DLC. I don't know when we started trying to build hype for DLCs, especially for games that were kind of subpar to begin with, but you know, here we are. Look, I don't hate Cyberpunk at all. I just think it's not the game that they promised that it would be leading up to release, and they didn't clarify the game that it was going to be on release, and it also released. Yeah, and I think it was fucking riddled with bugs as well. I remember when I tried to beat it the first time, there was a fucking quest line that was bugged, where there was supposed to be like an NPC that was supposed to spawn in front of this door that was supposed to start a dialogue at the beginning of this quest that I was doing, and it was a mainline quest, like it wasn't a side quest, so I had to do it to beat the game, and like the NPC just like didn't fucking spawn, and I had to wait literally like a month and a half for him to fix that fucking bug to be able to finish the game. So that was fun. Regardless, look, if you like action adventure games, I don't think the storyline in Cyberpunk was that bad. I think the characters are pretty decent. The world itself is pretty well realized. It's just, other than the story and some of the quests, like some of the quest lines, side quests are good, some of them are bad. Like the writing kind of varies and differs. A couple of them are really good, but there's also some that are pretty fucking bad too. But I mean, if you like open world action adventure games with tacked on RPG elements, you probably enjoy it. I enjoy the game for what it was, or for what it is, which is it's an action adventure game with tacked on RPG elements. It's not an RPG, and it was never meant to be an RPG, regardless of the game that they were selling us up to release. So, despite the fact that there's a fucking rudimentary character creator with very, very, very limited options, you know, tacking on those RPG options doesn't make it an RPG. Regardless, if you like action adventure games, honestly, you could do a hell of a lot worse than Cyberpunk. It's gonna be on Game Pass, or I don't have the game on Game Pass. I don't know, I'll have to look it up, but it looks like it could be fun. Like I said, in terms of characters and storyline, Cyberpunk was never really that bad, or I never really had an issue with it. It was more so, at least the 2077 game that this is a DLC to, I was more I hated it more for the game that I wanted it to be and that they promised me it was gonna be, and it never was. So, and you know, you can fucking debate me in the comments all you want. Well, you shouldn't have expected it to be an RPG with the games that these guys have made before. You should have expected it. When they showed the fucking goddamn gameplay trailers way back in E3, they chose the only 2 quest lines in the entire fucking game that have branching paths. So don't give me that shit. They were promising RPGs with branching paths, and you could align yourself with different factions and do shit like a Bethesda game, and it wasn't like that. So I don't even want to fucking hear that garbage. Fucking, I've already gotten enough arguments with people about that shit. Fucking, I swear, dude, it's hard to believe that company still has fucking fanboy cocksuckers that are willing to defend them the way that they do. I might play it. Like I said, I don't hate the game. I just don't think it's what they promised. But for what it is, it is admittedly pretty good. So I'll probably check this out. Cities Skylines 2. Now this is another niche game. I'm sure a lot of people are like, ugh, so stupid. Another dumb city builder. They'd probably be saying the same thing about this that I said about like the hack and slash games earlier, or the other, like Hellblade or something. But like this game is actually something that I somewhat do care about. I actually greatly enjoy the original City Skylines. I think I got like 80 something hours in it, which isn't too much, but I mean it's still, I enjoy playing it. But the thing is, this trailer, it just looks like a prettier City Skylines. It doesn't look. What are the new features? Like it's a trailer, and it's only like a minute and a half long trailer, so they can't show much. I'll probably buy it anyways, just because I'm a sucker for these kind of fucking games. But I still wish they would have showed like what exactly is different. What is upgraded other than the graphics? I mean, I think the skyscrapers themselves look better. I never was a fan of how the skyscrapers looked in the first game. They never looked as imposing as I feel like they should. But yeah, I can't remember. I think they said I think they did give a release date. But it's coming to Game Pass too, so I won't even have to buy it. Chances are it's a Paradox game, so like all the features that all the other DLCs have added to the first game won't be there, and you're gonna have to wait to buy all the DLCs again, and it's gonna be a goddamn mess. But I like city builders, man. I'm a sucker for them. There's not very many good ones that come out, so I'll buy it. What can I say? It's for a small niche of people, but I'm part of that niche, so it is what it is. Metaphors, more weeb shit. I'm gonna just refer you to the previous, well, this one, yeah, because they didn't even bother fucking translating the goddamn shit into English, so yeah, I refer to you to my previous rant. I might even insert it again here about how people that are more willing to make a trailer for a game and then don't even bother fucking translating the goddamn shit are more likely to have the mindset of, well, we shouldn't have to bother to translate it because we're better, our culture's better, our language is better, and fuck everyone else. And I don't want to support people who have that kind of mindset. So it is what it is. Despite the fact that most of the sales for this game will probably come from Western companies. That's what pisses me off more than anything else too. Is that like the majority? That's why I meant when I said we keep these fuckers afloat. Their entire economy afloat because of their fucking exports and what we buy. And they can't even be grateful and be like, yeah, you know what, maybe those American people aren't that bad. Maybe they have a point. You know, maybe we should not refuse to buy every single American thing sold here. But no, they don't. Despite the fact that like 80 to 90% of their sales come from countries that aren't Japan, they still look like thumb their noses at us, and it pisses me off. So the next game is Clockwork. It's some BioShock ripoff, I guess. It looked like a BioShock ripoff. I guess we had Atomic Heart earlier this year for a BioShock ripoff. Then we had the System Shock remaster, which was really, BioShock was a ripoff of System Shock, so I guess that doesn't count. And now we got another BioShock ripoff that's coming. I don't know if we need that many BioShock ripoffs, but hey, look, it is what it is. It just goes to show you that like the style and things that BioShock invented really was unique. Like this retro futurism of like 1920s and 30s architecture and culture mixed with like this futuristic sci-fi environment. It's really unique, and it's definitely makes sense why so many games have tried to copy, you know, this whole aesthetic. So because it is cool, so it is what it is. It's a good art style. I don't really know what it is. I guess it's a first-person shooter. They showed guns, so it's literally just a BioShock ripoff, or it looked more like a BioShock Infinite ripoff than, you know, the Rapture ones. Yeah, I guess I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it looks fun. I actually really enjoy all the BioShock games. Even Infinite. I think Infinite has its problems, sure, but I still really enjoy it. I still think it's really fun to play. Is it a bit too long? Probably. Is the enemy variety not good at all? Probably, but then again, that was the same case in the first two BioShock games, so it is what it is. I just think that game's a little bit underrated. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's fantastic, but I think it's pretty good, so whatever. I always go off on these wild tangents. This game looks alright. I'll keep my eye on it, but it might be fun. Alright, and now we have the Starfield. I considered making this its own separate video, but I really just don't want to fucking upload spam. Though that'd probably help me in the algorithm if I did that, but I'm not gonna do that. There's the same conference. It's gonna be in the same goddamn video. They tried to do this thing where it's like, no, this is its own separate conference, and they spent like an hour on it, so I get why. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. That shit did not feel good. Okay. But anyway, so we're just gonna cover this here. But yeah, so they started it off. I didn't take notes during any of this. So I guess this is just gonna be greater thoughts on what they showed in general about Starfield. After this showcase, my expectations are quite a bit higher than they were before. Now, they started out and I was a bit iffy because it showed a lot of barren landscapes and it showed a lot of fucking empty fucking planets with nothing around but like rocks and like fucking small animals wandering around and shit, and which is kind of what I was worried about and why I wasn't that excited for this game to begin with, because it's like, oh fucking god, man, I don't want to fucking wander around 100 empty fucking planets doing nothing. This is fucking stupid. And then I heard like a fucking some leak that happened a while ago that said like there was only gonna be like 5 cities in game that to get quests from, and it's like, so it's like gonna be 90% barren bullshit with nothing to do. Like, what the fuck? That's not gonna be fucking, that's gonna be lame. And honestly, there were parts of this that were very reminiscent of No Man's Sky, which isn't that bad of a game. I mean, I don't really enjoy it because again, I prefer to have more of a goal than just fuck around and build shit. But it looked straight up Nomad. You land on a planet, you fucking scan for resources, you whip out your fucking resource extractor gun thing, and you fucking just start fucking mining resources to build shit. And it's just like, it's not fun for me, man. And it's definitely not why I play a Bethesda game. Like, that shit's fucking dull. It's for the birds. I can't stand it. Like, if you like it, I know I'm not trying to dunk on you, but I can't stand that kind of gameplay. But they did show, they went on to show, like, there is at least a couple places that have some NPCs. You'll have, here's the thing that worries me though too, is some of this stuff is procedurally generated. They even said, like, you'll go down to a planet and like you'll find a base or something that's or quest that's procedurally generated, and it won't always be there for everyone. So like, if you land on a planet, it might not be the same as when someone else lands on a planet, or you might not get the same areas or same quests and stuff, which is another kind of red flag to me, because it's like, that just screams it's just cut and paste to me. Then like, if it's just a bunch of Radiant quests where they just put random cut and paste bases on planets that you visit, and they'll have a couple NPCs, a couple cut and paste quests, like, oh, these creatures are fucking up our power relay, can you go kill them? This person stole something from us and is hiding out in this cave, can you kill him? We need supplies, and our person that was supposed to be delivering supplies went out of contact, can you go get our supplies? Like, cut and paste quests like that. If it's just stuff like that, that's going to be just as lame and boring. You might as well just not put anything there at all. They showed like these star bases and stuff too that looked like the same thing. It looked like a lot of them were just procedurally generated with Radiant quests and unnamed NPCs. And it's like, I mean, at that point, if it's literally nothing but generic NPCs that give you generic Radiant quests, you might as well just have nothing there at all. But they did show a lot of things that looked really neat. The shipbuilding looks really cool. Even the ship combat looks pretty neat. How you can direct powers, or you can direct power to different systems like shields and weapons and things depending on what you're trying to do. If you want to make it like more hasty getaway, you can divert all power to like the emergency FTL jumps and shit. You can divert more power to thrusters if you want to be fast. Like, that stuff is really cool. And it's definitely unique. I don't think there's been a game with space combat that has come out in the past couple of years with a system similar to that, but I think it's cool. The dogfighting itself looks kind of generic, but again, with that added system, I think it's kind of neat. And it's not the only thing that you're going to be doing. And they showed this system where you can like dock and you can like take other people's ships and stuff, which I thought was pretty neat. There's different stuff you can do. I think that's kind of what excited me more than anything else, is just the sheer volume of stuff. Like they only have like 5 skill trees, which is really fucking shitty and really bad. I'm not sold on that, but like they got like a bunch of weapon mods. They showed a bunch of different like creatures and stuff, so the enemy variety will be there, other than just humans. I guess if you want to go around and shoot wildlife, you can. I will say the fucking combat for most of the AI still looks really goddamn bad. You had fucking people just wandering out in the middle of gunfire. You had people not even trying to take cover. There was one scene where a guy that was like running away and he wasn't even like trying to look behind him and fire. Like the AI looks really bad. I don't know if they have it just turned down or something to make these, you know, trailer money shot moments that they're showing, but it don't look great, man. And if the NP, I mean, some of this AI was like almost Redfall levels of bad, and that's saying a lot, man, because that's your games should be nowhere near Redfall on any level, including AI. So the combat did look funner than Redfall, so there's definitely more variety. I mean, you could have different skills. You know, you can still have your melee only builds. You had one guy just going around punching people. You do heavy weapons, small weapons. You could level up into different things, which is always a staple of these kind of games that I've liked. It showed a decent amount, even though they said only 5 cities, they showed a decent amount of hub areas that looked at least somewhat sizable. I think if you add that with the procedural generation thing, it could definitely make for a more lifelike feeling galaxy. Even if you have more generic NPCs walking around, it still adds, at least at a distance, to that feeling of lifelikeness, I guess. It looked like there was a large variety of quests there. There was a few different factions they were showing off, which I thought was neat and I was worried about because they had only shown off like 2 factions before. So there's different factions you can join. It all looks like really good standard Bethesda fare, but it looks like a lot of the fears that I had of there not being a lot of handcrafted stuff, there not being a lot of handcrafted locations and quests, and another thing they showed, well, it looked like a lot of those fears that I had aren't really going to be as big of a deal as I worried about. And another thing that I showed, I thought that was really cool, was you could like assign your companions to like different slots on your ship, I guess, and like they'll give you different bonuses depending on what companions you assign, because they'll have different skills. I thought that was really cool, and an evolution, because it gives you a reason to pick up companions even if you'll never use them in combat or whatever, because they can still give you passive bonuses. So it gives you a reason to actually ally with these people. So hey, I mean, I like that change. I think it's a good change. It just seems like there's a lot of depth to this game. There's a lot of different stuff you can do. I didn't even touch on the fucking planet having system where you fucking build your own planet habitats or whatever, which I didn't really care for. I was worried they were going to rely too much on that, and instead of making handcrafted locations, they were just going to be like, well, build your own. That's kind of what they did with Fallout 4, but it looks like it's a decently well-realized world. It looks like there's a decent amount to do in it. If you don't want to fuck around with the base building, which I probably won't. The companions, honestly, one improvement I hope they make is I've always been a bit underwhelmed by Bethesda's companions, and maybe it's just because I play a lot of like CRPGs and stuff that have like really in-depth companions with like crazy good backstories and stuff. Most of Fallout and Elder Scrolls companions have been kind of like shallow, and they don't really have like there's not really many times where they'll interject or they'll say something about a quest or something. There's not really any party banter like there is in a lot of other RPGs, and I think even a BioWare does party banter better, has done party banter better than Bethesda ever did. So that's one improvement that I hope that they'll make, because they're like, oh, you can romance your companions, it's a Bethesda thing. Yeah, but these people, like, most of the time they're so shallow you wouldn't want to. There's no reason to, other than maybe a slight buff you get after sleeping with them. The characters themselves aren't complex and interesting enough to warrant that exploration, so who gives a shit, really? But I hope they improve it. They need to get some better writers, because Fallout 4 wasn't exactly the best written either. We still haven't seen, you know, exactly how these things are gonna be written, which is why, you know, I'm still not, oh my god, I can't fucking wait for this. I'm more excited than I was, because it looks like there's a bit more handcrafted stuff than I was thinking there would be, and there's more locations to visit, and the planets won't be as barren as I was worried about, and you know, a lot of my worries are alleviated a little bit, so I'm more excited than I was, but I'm still not, you know, over the moon Bethesda fanboy, because I mean, Far Harbor was pretty good in Fallout 4, but still, like, for the most part, they haven't shown that they know how to write decent quests and decent stories. But this isn't their own IP, so at least they don't got to worry about existing lore and other shit to fuck up like they did in Fallout 4. So, I mean, it's one less thing for them to fuck up then. So I guess it's a higher chance of it being better. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Yeah, overall thoughts on everything. One more time before I end this. Yeah, like I said, I think it was a better conference than the other ones. Not by much, but there was a lot more of these games that I personally had interest in, so you know, I might be more biased. You know, shit like Avowed and Cities Skylines 2 and Starfield and a couple of these other games I actually do care about. So decent conference, definitely not great. If I had to grade it, if I had to give it 1 out of 10, it'd probably still be like 6.5, 7 maybe, just because they didn't really have anything that was like, oh my god, that's fucking really cool. Like, not really. Starfield got there a couple times, but there was no real big announcements, and the real big announcements they did have, it was like Fable, it was just cinematics. So even though they did show stuff and they did reveal some cool stuff, still was kind of underwhelming overall. It still was better than the other ones that I've seen, so it is what it is. I haven't seen the PC game show, so that might be better, but I mean, who are we kidding? That's fucking hilarious, right? But anyway, that's it for this video. I got more videos coming for the other showcases. We'll try to get this one out to beat the algorithm before it gets irrelevant again. I'm usually pretty bad at that, but it's been Faded Zephyr signing out.